A few years back, I was staying at my girlfriend's dad's place for about a month. He lived in a quiet house nestled between a vast stretch of woods and a wide, glimmering lake. Peaceful, remote, the kind of place that makes you forget the noise of the world. He owned most of the surrounding land, including a large section of the woods behind the house. I remember he had this narrow, almost overgrown trail. Not quite a path, more like a clearing that cut a crooked line through the trees. It wasn't marked, barely walkable in places, but I found myself drawn to it. I'd wander down it on my own, usually to clear my head. That particular day, something felt different. The fog rolled in thicker than I had ever seen it before. Not mist, not morning dew. Fog. Dense, suffocating. It blanketed the landscape like a wet cotton sheet. I couldn't see more than 10 or 15 feet ahead of me. I remember thinking it looked like something straight out of a movie, or a dream, or a nightmare. I laced up my boots, told my girlfriend I was going out for a short walk, and slipped into the woods alone. She never liked coming with me. She always said there was something off about those trees. At first, the only sounds were my boots crunching softly over the leaves and twigs, and the distant song of evening crickets echoing through the trees. It was strangely peaceful, almost meditative. But then I noticed it. Footsteps. At first I thought it was just my own. But these weren't echoes. These were mirroring mine, perfectly synchronized, like someone was deliberately stepping when I stepped. I stopped. The woods fell silent. No footsteps. No wind. Just fog curling around the trees and wrapping around me like a heavy, cold blanket. "Hello," I called out calmly, trying not to sound alarmed. No answer. No footsteps retreating, no branches rustling. Just stillness. I figured it was in my head. Maybe a deer nearby spooked off. So I kept going, a little more alert now. The air smelled damp and earthy, like rain-soaked bark. I could barely see the trees ahead. They were just shadows in the white. Then I heard it. A sound I'll never forget. It was this low, agonizing moan like someone in pain. A deep, rattling breath. The kind of sound an old man might make in the middle of the night, waking up from a bad dream. It was close, but the fog made it impossible to tell how close. "Hello!" I called again, this time more urgently. That's when I saw it. A figure. Just standing there. I couldn't make out any details, just a tall silhouette in the fog, far enough away that I couldn't see a face, but close enough that I could tell it wasn't a tree. It was standing completely still, right where the moaning had come from. I stepped toward it, cautiously asking, "Are you okay? Do you need help?" The figure didn't move. I took another step, then another. But no matter how far I walked, it didn't seem to get any closer. It was like walking toward a mirage. I stopped, squinting, heart beginning to race. The air felt colder now. I yelled louder this time, "Hey, are you hurt?" Suddenly, the moaning stopped. And then something in my brain finally kicked in, some primal part of me that screamed, "Run." I turned around and started walking back. Fast. I didn't want to seem panicked, but I could feel the anxiety rising in my throat. The fog pressed in harder now, thicker than before. The clearing I had followed so easily before felt unfamiliar and foreign. Then curiosity got the best of me. I looked over my shoulder, and I nearly choked. The figure was still there, but now it was behind me. Same distance, same motionless presence. Except now I noticed something even more disturbing. It wasn't walking. It wasn't moving. It was hovering. The lower half of its legs were just gone. Not obscured by the fog, just not there. Like the fog had swallowed it whole from the knees down. And it wasn't just standing, it was gliding, floating, keeping perfect pace with me, no matter how fast I moved. That was it. I broke into a sprint. I don't think I've ever run that fast in my life. My lungs burned, my legs felt like lead, and the air was like breathing in ice. But I didn't stop. Every few seconds I'd glance behind me, and every time, every single time, the figure was still there, same distance, like it was tethered to me by some invisible string. It didn't chase me. It didn't lunge. It just followed, silently, unshakable. By the time I reached the edge of the woods and the house came back into view, I was drenched in sweat and gasping for breath. I turned one last time at the tree line, and there it was, just standing there, right at the edge of the forest, as if it couldn't follow me beyond it. Then it was gone. I stumbled into the house, slammed the back door shut, and collapsed onto the floor. My girlfriend, her dad, and her brother came running, alarmed by the noise. "There's someone out there," I wheezed, pointing toward the fog-covered tree line. Someone was following me in the woods, but they never got closer. They were just there. Her dad, to his credit, didn't laugh or roll his eyes. He quietly slipped on his boots and grabbed a flashlight. We stepped outside together, and I showed him exactly where I'd seen it. Nothing, just trees and mist. He clapped a hand on my shoulder and gave me a reassuring smile. "You're safe here," he said. "Nobody's getting onto this property without us knowing, not with me, you, and the dogs here." I nodded, smiled weakly, pretended like I believed him. But inside, something was rattling loose in me. I'm not someone who believes in ghosts or the paranormal. I never have. But that was something else. That fog, that thing. I've never experienced anything like it since. But even now, years later, when the weather turns cold and the fog rolls in just right, I get chills down my spine. Because somewhere out there, in those woods, something waited for me. And for a while, it followed.